Love. Love comes in many, many different forms. It's a lot more complex than how we treat it or how the internet shows it or how the internet depicts it. Love isn't a narrow definition that we often give it. It doesn't fit neatly into one category, one label, one box. It's not just 100% romantic or nothing. It's not just platonic or nothing. Instead, love is a spectrum. A living, breathing thing that exists in endless variety, each with its own nuance, challenges, and joys. Imagine it like a vast, ever-expanding book, right? A vast, ever-expanding book. A book titled The Variety of Love. Every time you think you've reached the last page, another appears, adding depth and meaning to your understanding of this emotion we call love. For example, let's say you open the page on loving a friend. We dive into it, exploring what it means to care someone non-romantically, yet in a deeply personal way. But as you turn the page, something else unfolds. Another chapter. Why do I love this friend? That questions leads to a new chapter when I take you deeply into the dynamics of your feelings and connections. As you keep reading, you encounter another page. What if my friend doesn't love me back? What if our friendship doesn't work out because of how I feel about them, how I express my emotions? Will I be okay if they don't feel the same way? Each question leads to more and more pages, each one offering a deeper insight to your feelings, your vulnerability, and the complexity of your heart. And that's all those feelings, all those chapters could just be for one person. Just one person. All that stuff, right? Now imagine all those pages, that big, ever-expanding book is just for one person. And how many books are created when you encounter new people, friends, families, lovers, acquaintances. The book becomes infinite, it just keeps expanding and growing and getting bigger as you dive deeper into it and learn more about what you want from love, what your understanding of love, what kind of love do you crave. I've been reflecting lately how love manifests in my own life, how I feel about people around me and what each person means to me. For some relationships, it's clear, simple, just like, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing good. That's great, But for some relationships, it's simple, it's easy. I don't gotta think too hard. I don't get confused about doing the wrong thing or saying the wrong thing. It's just simple, For some relationships in my life. And when I say relationships, I don't just mean like romantically. I mean just people, connection with other beings. With people like that, the connection feels genuine. There's no need to overthink it. That simplicity, that peace is rare and precious to me. But for other people, for other relationships, it's way, way, way more complicated. The pages of the book are filled with questions and uncertainties and what ifs, but that's okay. That's okay. Love and relationships aren't easy. They're not just a simple 1-2 process. It's many, 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 many steps just to get to, one thing, or understand one thing about yourself the relationship or you and this other person. those type of relationships require me to navigate the complexity of my emotions and figure out where I stand. It can be exhausting, you know, trying to figure out what I need to do and what I need to become for myself to understand truly the relationships that I want and the relationships that I want to have in my life. But it's also an opportunity for growth. Through these more challenging connections, I learn about myself, my needs, my boundaries, my desires, and that process is just as valuable to me just as much as the simple ones, the simple 1-2s. I like my simple 1-2 step relationships, and I just like my fucking dance routine, complex dance routine relationships, you know? We gotta put your all into it and memorize and, you know, put your foot in first and just go, keep going, you know? Even if you fuck up the first time, even if it doesn't work, just keep going. I think the reason I'm reflecting so much on love right now has to do with where I am in my life currently. The past few years, I've been in a period of personal growth. It's not something that happened overnight. It's slow, often uncomfortable, and sometimes painful. But it is a journey that I'm willing to walk because I know once I get to the end of that journey, well, actually, first of all, the journey of personal growth never ends. It never ends. The journey of personal growth never ends. But the willingness to walk that journey is something I'm always willing to do. Something that I will forever be willing to do. And something that I want to do. Not just for outside means, but for myself and what I can give back to the world from knowing what I have and what I gain. I still don't fully understand myself and the areas that I want to be in and where I want to grow into. But I'll start one thing at a time. And for me, that one thing is understanding my relationships. How I love, how I allow myself to be loved, and how I can nurture those bonds. I've come to realize that love isn't a fairy tale concept we often see in movies or read about in books. It's not a perfect story with neatly tied up endings, or it's not a rom-com, it's not a fucking TV show about this, that, and the third coming together and connecting the two people in ways they never could have imagined. Love is a job. Love is a job. The reason why I say love is a job is because love takes work. It takes a lot of work. It requires time, energies, patience, change, and dedication every single day. Now, maybe it's not going to be 100% every single day. That's not realistic. But even if you can just give 1%, right? Some days you'll give 100, some days you'll give 70, some days you'll give 30, then another day you'll give 30, then another day you'll give 60, and some days you'll give 10, some days you'll give 100 again. But as long as you're giving at least 1% every single day, it's worth it. It's worth it. You know, when in relationships with people, don't just get comfortable, right? When I say don't get comfortable, be comfortable with your partner. Be comfortable with what you guys got going on, but don't be static. You know, you think once you're in a relationship or once you gain that friendship or gain that connection, you're just like, oh, okay, well, now that's there. Now that's, in my back pocket. Now I'm going to go do something else. Don't do that. Excuse me. Don't do that. It's not worth it. Relationships are stuff you need to constantly put effort into, It's it's something that needs a lot of work. Even if it's romantic love, family love, friendships, it's a commitment that demands effort. But if you can embrace that responsibility, if you can invest in yourself fully in the act of loving and being loved, it becomes the most rewarding and fulfilling job you'll ever have. The thing is, love isn't about receiving, it's about giving too. It's about showing up for people, being present for them in both good and bad moments, and offering them your heart in a way that's open and genuine. And that way could be different for many people. That way can change for one person. The person that you're in a relationship with, at the beginning of the relationship, their love language is gift giving, right? At the beginning of the relationship, their love living. At the beginning of the relationship, their love language is gift giving, right? But then maybe a couple months, a couple years later, they could have changed. Now their love language is words of affirmation, telling them that you're here for them, being there for them, telling them of what you can do if they need it and what you can do if they want your help, But some people also want space. Hearing someone you care about say that they don't want to be around you can be hard, but try not to take it personal. It's giving someone space gives them time to reflect on how they feel and how their emotions are. Even if someone is comfortable with you, trying to express, even if the person you're with, right, the person that you're trying to, give a shoulder to lean on, even if they're comfortable with you, they might not feel comfortable with truly expressing themselves. Not because of you, but maybe because of them. They don't know how yet. They don't know what to say or what they should do to express the way they're feeling. Because sometimes you can't express the way you're feeling because you don't understand how. You don't know how. So giving them time apart to understand that emotion is important. It's a very important thing. And understanding that will help you a lot in life and with your relationships. Handling doubts and insecurities and still choosing to show up day after day, because love at its core is a practice. You can't just fall into it and expect it to stay. You have to mature it like a garden. You have to tend to it with care and attention. Just because you planted the garden doesn't mean that garden's gonna stay thriving and fresh and green and juicy forever just because you planted it and got them to grow. That's not how it works. And that's not the case. You need to put in conscious effort every single day to water that garden that which is love, and to nurture it all the time. And sometimes you might say, oh, why is my garden dying? Why is my garden not growing or staying fresh? I'm giving it the water and the fertilizer and the proteins that I usually give it for it to grow. Maybe that garden don't want that kind of stuff anymore. Maybe it doesn't want that kind of water, that kind of proteins, that kind of fertilizer. Maybe you got to try something different. You got to be willing to understand that it's not a personal thing. You just got to be able to see what's wrong and try something different. Try a different method of showing this garden that you care and you love it. And when you do that, when you invest with all your love that you have, you realize that there's nothing more fulfilling in the world. Whether you're in a relationship or a close-knit group of friends, whether you're only got 2 friends to your name or you got 20, 25, you know, whether you got a big fucking family tree that hangs out every holiday, or you just got your siblings and your mom and her dad, you know, love like that is always deeply fulfilling. The depth of connection that love brings is incomparable. It's more profound than any material achievement, more enriching than any monetary pleasures. It what gives life its meaning, its texture, its warmth. I'm still learning myself. I'll never be perfect, nor do I want to be perfect. But I'm conscious of my progress. I'm aware of my success and my failures in navigating relationships and understanding my own feelings, especially when it comes to love. The awareness is the key to growth. It's the key to deeper and more meaningful connections. Because in the end, love isn't about perfection. It's about presence, effort, and willingness to show up for each other, no matter what. And when we do, and when we come to understand that, we'll find that love is more than just that one thing. Love is what makes all the things in life worth it. That's all I got, y'all. If you don't know me, my name is Corn. Stick around, and I hope you enjoy what I got to tell you and show you. See you later, y'all.